Warning, we are about to spoil the series Over the Garden Wall. If you haven't seen the show, or you plan on watching it, then click away now. Or if you've already seen it, or you just don't care, then please stick around.
We didn't think of an opening joke, though.
I think that joke went over the garden wall. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I thought real hard about that one.
I fucking hate you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette, where I have just watched a series that it hit me because I didn't expect it. It was not at all what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'll actually give this slight warning because this series is basically a movie length. It was a short series on Cartoon Network that aired a few days in a row. If you haven't seen it, it is currently on HBO Max.
Yeah,
you can sit through it before this episode.
Exactly. Each episode is only 11 minutes long. So,
yeah.
Yep. And wow. This was kind of when Cartoon Network started to kind of get back into the swing of things. But yeah, this is what year was this made? Did we actually look that up, or were we not prepared for that?
I think it's 2014.
All right. This is Over the Garden Wall. Man, just listen to the silence of the woods closing in.
I like
around
how
us.
you were annoyed with the "we went quiet" joke, but now you've just fully accepted that I won't stop.
Yeah, it's to the point where there's just no point in getting mad at it. Just embrace it. It's just gonna keep going. Just enjoy the ride. Because
stay mad.
It's hit the point where yes, I was mad, and then I was annoyed. And then it was just like, I'll just have fun with this. I'm just going to make fun of myself at this point.
I was trying to think of a way to segue. I have no segue.
So, Over the Garden Wall. Man, this show is so interesting.
Yeah, this is a weird one. It was made by the creator of Misadventures of Flapjack, which is already a weird enough series. But this is basically him being told, do whatever. And you only get 10 episodes. He does.
Oh, yeah. He with the 10 episodes that he's given, oh boy, he does a lot. So I think I'll just let you go in with the synopsis.
Yeah. I did originally see this show when it first aired. This was Cameron's first time through.
Mm-hmm.
Just for... Also, we'll probably talk more about where Cartoon Network was at the time, because we mentioned in the opening, but there is still time.
Actually, you can do that before the synopsis if you want.
Okay,
background. I think that makes more sense.
That does, actually. Okay, so, for those who don't know, Cartoon Network was a powerhouse for a good while in the 90s and early 2000s. They had a lot of good shit.
Oh, yeah, I was there. I lived it, man.
And then there was a period where just everything went wrong. I forget. I know there's a lot of YouTube videos that actually cover what was going on, but behind the scenes, just people weren't running this thing fucking right.
Yeah.
We got CN Real, which was live action shows on Cartoon Network. Make sense of that.
I hated that.
Yeah, except for Destroy, Build, Destroy. That was honestly pretty enjoyable because Andrew WK just yelling at kids is funny.
I do love that. Yeah, you gotta love Andrew WK. I love that they didn't use any of his songs, probably because they couldn't get away with using any of his songs.
Yeah.
I wonder if he did the theme song at least.
Oh, hey, do you want a random fact?
Oh, please, while we're on the subject, yes.
the lead singer of Bowling for Soup is currently the voice of Chuck E. Cheese.
What?
Yes, the current version of Chuck E. Cheese that plays an electric guitar is voiced by the lead singer of Bowling for Soup.
That is so weird. Huh.
Yeah, that's just a weird thing I learned today.
He's the mouse now, I guess. All right. Or the rat. What is Chucky? A rat?
He's a mouse.
He's a
I
mouse?
think.
Okay.
Or is it rat? I don't know. They both like cheese, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Cartoon Network was kind of in the toilet, and all the cartoons they had that weren't reruns were basically bad SpongeBob ripoffs. Just loud, obnoxious bullshit that no one remembers or likes.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying way too hard to be meme material. What was...
Because that's the thing about memes, and this is just a random ass side subject of Cartoon Network, is that, memes like that have to come naturally. You can always tell when it's forced.
Oh, I'm trying... Okay, if you need to figure out how bad it was, look up something called the Problem Solvers, unless you have epilepsy, and just watch that for 3 seconds and you'll understand the state Cartoon Network was in for a good while.
Was that the one that had that like horribly bright like flash animation look to it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that palette. I hated that palette. That was just an eyesore. Oh.
I also remember, I think it was around this time they did this weird Powerpuff Girls reboot, and I don't know what they were going for with the animation style, but it physically hurt to look at.
Not the second reboot, mind you. The first time they tried to reboot it.
Yeah. But, okay. Bit off topic, getting back on track. At this point, when Over the Garden Wall came out, Adventure Time was in about its 3rd or 4th season.
So stuff was starting to get a little more serious.
We were starting to get back on track because Adventure Time's doing well. I'm pretty sure Regular Show is back at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to gain traction again. And CN Real is dead.
Thank fuck.
So then comes this. They're advertising that they are doing a mini-series, creator Flapjack, called Over the Garden Wall, big event type deal. And then it came out. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, we were getting bad SpongeBob ripoffs or meme material. And then finally this came around. Over the Garden Wall that is a story about brothers Wart and Greg. And Greg's frog, Kitty, who I will call Kitty, even though Greg changes his name anytime the name is brought up.
And I will say, too, beforehand, that they got some really big names for the cast.
Yeah, you got Elijah Wood in here. You got Christopher Lloyd. There's a lot of good people here.
And there's Tim Curry as a side character as well.
And a couple Monty Python alumni.
Yep. I think the only one is actually John Cleese, but
there could be more. We don't know.
That is true.
Because this is an off-topic thing, but the credits go so fast, we had to basically QuickTime event pause them if we wanted to figure out who voiced who. They
had John Cleese voice these two characters, and then just Eric Idle was there for 3 seconds or something as a frog or some shit. That would be funny.
Actually, a better way to describe what Cartoon Network cartoons turned into at the time was basically take Chowder and Flapjack, but then make a diet version of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's anyway. So, Wart is the older brother of Greg. Wart is cynical high schooler. Greg is, the wide-eyed youngster.
Which, let's be fair, who wasn't cynical in fucking high school? Fuck high school.
If you ever have trouble making a conversation with someone who's the same age as you, just talk about how shit middle and high school were. Everyone has shitty middle and high school stories.
If you need a conversation starter to break that ice, yeah, go there.
Think you're funny. Okay. So we open the show with, first off, a rather creepy, dark song. And then we see Wart and Greg walking through the woods. Wart is voiced by Elijah Wood. Greg, I forget the voice actor's name, but it's the same voice as Chowder.
Yep.
Man, Chowder is a good show.
It was.
But they are lost. Apparently, Greg is the reason they got lost. And they walk around for a bit. Greg starts leaving a trail of candy. And they come across a woodsman. A creepy-ass woodsman who's an old man. He's got a lantern and a big old axe. So Greg immediately goes to say hi. And the woodsman warns them that this whole area is basically called the Unknown. And that there is a beast in these woods. He takes them into his cabin. He shows that he chops down trees to make oil to fuel his lamp. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And he even tells them, like, okay, because Wart gets worried that the old man might be trying to kidnap them. He isn't. And he says, like, hey, if you want to leave, you can. Just be careful. I'm making sure you're still there.
Yippers.
Okay, because you crashed a few times. So, yeah.
I know. We're paranoid now because, just as a side note, in case you guys don't know, the past two, I think, like, well, the past couple, hold on. Rephrase
Do you
that.
want words properly today?
Probably not, but yeah. Let me just cut. Just cut. We're gonna try that again. So in case you guys don't know, during the last recording session, my computer froze in the middle of it. And this has happened frequently. 2 times now that we're not recording, my computer just crashes in the middle of a fucking conversation. So now we're paranoid because if I go silent for a bit, because last time it crashed, he went on with the synopsis for a little while before he realized I think I had to actually message you, stop.
Yep.
So yeah, if he checks in periodically, it's fine.
Sorry about that. They try to leave his cabin. However, a monster shows up. Wart is actually able to defeat the monster. It basically turns into just a normal dog. But the whole reason it came is because of Greg, who was leaving a candy trail so they didn't get more lost.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we leave the woodsman with his little facility to make oil in shambles as he continues to warn about the beast. Next episode, we meet Beatrice. Beatrice is a talking bird who used to be human, but is now cursed to be bird. I'm going to skip over parts that aren't the story, because this is, while serialized, it's still very episodic as well.
Yeah, there are one-off episodes where they just explore some weird part of the land. So we'll probably talk about those one-offs later.
Yep. Beatrice is saved by Greg because she gets caught in a spider trap, or a spider's web. Not a spider trap. Jesus, brain.
I mean, it is technically a trap, but...
True, but it's also their home.
Yes.
Home sweet trap. But anyway. And due to being saved, the usual cliche of, like, I owe you. So she sticks with them. Mm-hmm. And tells them about a lady named Adelaide who will be able to help them get home. As they travel, a thunderstorm hits, they get caught, and they go into a tavern. Beatrice is kicked out because this tavern don't serve birds. But they're trying to find their way to Adelaide's. A couple songs happen. Beatrice eventually flies off, actually seeing the woodsman. But after a bit, Wart hears her scream, goes to save her. And also people in the tavern, as he describes the beast, say that the woodsman is the beast. And even thinks back to all his cryptic warnings and realizes that those could all fit him. He steals a horse, runs over there, and grabs and finds the woodsman standing over Beatrice with an axe. Quickly saves Beatrice and almost destroys the woodsman's lantern, which he is very protective of. And now they have a new friend. His name is Fred. He's a talking horse.
Yay!
Yay!
He's also kind of a dick.
He's also... Fred can do whatever he wants. I want to steal. Actually, next episode we lose Fred. So
It is sad that they got a companion and then he's gone now.
but he got some fun lines.
Yeah.
Actually,
just a minor thing I want to point out is that Fred is a talking horse, and they just accept this. Beatrice is a talking bluebird, and Elijah Wood is initially shocked that she can talk because birds usually don't have the brain capacity to talk. So talking horses are commonplace, but not talking birds?
Well, this is also after he was in a school for animals that walked on two legs. So I think at this point he's just very accepting of what's going on.
That makes sense. Okay.
After they help a couple of rich people realize they now live in the same house, they move on to a boat, a frog steamboat.
Shit gets weird.
Shit gets kind of weird. Turns out the frog Greg has been carrying around can sing. Oh, also I forgot to mention back in episode 4, we found out Greg is a stepbrother to Wart. So that's just a detail.
Yeah. But the frog can sing, and Wart can play the buffoon, or the
bassoon.
Bassoon, that's it, the bassoon.
Bassoon? Yeah. And play other things as well.
I mean,
because they were about to be thrown off the boat, but they basically improvised being the band, and it works out well enough for them not to get kicked off.
I mean, I guess you could play a buffoon in a way, but,
Yeah, true. But they go to lie down because they're walking distance from Adelaide's house at this point. Once the boat is docked. And Beatrice is like, oh, no, just sleep. It's fine. In the middle of the night, Beatrice leaves and goes to Adelaide's. And apparently, Beatrice made a deal with Adelaide. Get the boys there, and Adelaide will give her scissors to allow her to turn her family... Because not only is Beatrice a bluebird, her entire family was turned into birds. Adelaide, if she gets the boys, will give her scissors in order to chop off their wings and turn them back into humans. But Beatrice says no. It realizes, hey, maybe trafficking children isn't the best. So she tries to sacrifice herself, but Wart actually saw Beatrice leave and went after her with Greg. They end up in Adelaide's house, hear what Adelaide wanted, and basically a liar revealed type story happens.
Mm-hmm.
Adelaide had this whole string trap set up in her home that ties up the boys. But Beatrice opens a window and Adelaide horribly melts and dies.
It's pretty fucked.
It is. We'll get back to that. Wart and Greg escape. Wart is very pouty about being lied to and is kind of back to square one.
Just a side note, every time, it's kind of satisfying because you finish a thought, and then every time you do, I can hear you flip the page.
Episode 7 is honestly just a really fun one, and we'll have to talk about it later.
Yes.
Wart is depressed because he just feels lost and feels like he's never going to get out of these woods, even with Greg constantly saying, "We'll be fine." Greg this entire time has been a very blinded by innocence idiot. So that's just been growing more and more on Wart's nerves. And he lies down to sleep under a tree with Greg. We see into Greg's dreams, and as both of them take a nap under a tree, they're like using leaves as a blanket. Greg has a bunch of fun, but then the evil old man wind comes in and he has to fight. And literally, as they're sleeping, the wind is rolling in and it's making them colder.
I love that dream sequence. It's so trippy and corny.
Yeah.
Like, because
And it's all done in classic animation style, which is just
yeah,
cool.
I love that throwback to like classic like 40s animation. Like that's like the kind of like animated shit you'd see in like BioShock Infinite or something.
Yeah. Well, probably closer to BioShock 1 than Infinite.
True, true. And because in the Frog episode too, there was references to like Steamboat Willie and Keystone Cops and shit like that.
Yeah, it's nice. But after he defeats the wind, a goddess of dreams comes down and it's basically like, I can take you home. Oh great, I'll go get Wart. No, Wart has been taken. And we cut down to see by the tree. There's a very specific tree. I forget the name they have for it.
I'll look it up while you keep going.
Cool. But those were trees that the woodsman was chopping down for oil. And we see back into the real world that Wart is getting tangled in in the veins of the tree that from the stump or whatnot. Back when Wart thought the woodsman was the beast, we actually see him talk to the monster, and it's clear he's technically working with the beast, but he himself is not the beast. Either way, the beast has Wart, and Greg gets one wish from the goddess. So he uses that wish so that he is taken instead of Wart. And then next episode, we actually get some backstory on how the fuck we got here. Still there?
Yep.
Cool. We find out that we're not in a fantasy. We weren't originally in a fantasy land. We were in modern times, or at least like 80s, I want to say. Because some of the cars looked at least a bit older than normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very much like small town America type thing, but it was supposed to be like closer to modern day than originally implied. So I would say 80s was appropriate, yeah.
80s, possibly 90s, but it was on Halloween. Wart was trying to ask a girl out named Sarah. But he is played by Elijah Wood, so he is a nerd who cannot do anything.
Yep.
Due to a bunch of antics that go on, he recorded her a bunch of poetry and him playing clarinet, I think it is.
Yeah. He was like, it's poetry with me playing clarinet. I'm sure you'll be fine. No. It's poetry.
Poetry and
Me clarinet. You don't understand.
And he loses that tape. Someone gives it to Sarah, and they spent him. Due to Greg, so dicks from high school basically get at the tape and put it in Sarah's jacket. So he's trying to go around and get the tape from her. She goes to just a gathering at the graveyard where they drink age appropriate drinks.
And they literally say this. We are drinking age appropriate drinks.
We are having age appropriate party.
It's one of the funniest jokes in the series.
It's probably like the slumber party joke in fucking Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Where it had to be changed.
Yes.
So they just did the most obvious fucking thing.
That's great.
Greg basically gets them caught as Wart tries to sneak up and take the tape from Sarah's jacket. And then the cops show up. They were just doing a joke, but everyone still panics.
Mm-hmm.
Wart and Greg run to a dead end and then climb a wall. The cops tell them to jump down, but they do on the opposite side. Oh, I forgot to mention, episode 8 ended with Wart running after Greg, but fell through some ice and is luckily saved by Beatrice and a fish that was fishing.
And as soon as I saw this fish fishing, I was like, wait a minute, it's a fish that's fishing. What is he fishing for?
Fish. Tiny fish. After they jump over the wall, they tumble down the hill and basically get knocked unconscious from the fall and go right into a lake. This show, just admit it's entirely a dream,
Mm-hmm.
but hey, it's honestly still good.
It's one of the few twists where it's all just a dream actually works.
Yeah.
This one, and in
That's a spoiler, and you need to censor that.
I do.
Why did you say such a thing?
Because I didn't think about spoilers. My bad.
Dick move.
No, it's not a dick move because it's censored. No one will know what that bleep was.
True. And in episode 10, after having this dream, Wart wakes up in the tree of Beatrice's family because they were all basically just snuggling him to warm him up, which is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And Wart goes after Greg, saying that he, like, oh, what was the line?
For what?
The guy at Darklight, where it was like, I was never good to him.
Yeah, it was, you're no good to him dead. Well, I was never really good to him alive either.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, show.
Wart goes out into Delwood trees?
Addlewood.
Okay. I know you were trying to subtly do that, but due to my pausing and reading it that way, it kind of ruins that effect.
Oh, well.
Whatever. They were called Addlewood trees, which is important for the thing that's coming up. We cut to the Beast, who, well, we'll actually talk about how he's been shown later.
Yep.
But Gregor is doing very odd tasks for him.
You just called him Gregor.
Damn it, I've been watching Thrilling Intent.
That's amazing. If you haven't watched Thrilling Intent, go watch Thrilling Intent. It's great.
Go check out Thrilling Intent. It's a great tabletop podcast.
Yes.
Well, technically it's not a podcast because they have visuals. Anyway, another time, the Beast is using Greg, and Beatrice is also hunting for Greg as he's doing these tasks, but the wind picks up during all this and blows her away. Luckily, right into Wart, so they can both go find Greg. However, they're too late, as Greg is turning into an Addlewood tree. Turns out, all of those trees are people.
Not just people; they're mostly children, aren't they?
The Beast only says it was people who were lost, so that can range to whoever. And the Woodsman has made a deal. We find out the Woodsman made a deal with the Beast in order to keep his daughter's soul alive within the lantern that he always carries. All he needs to do is keep chopping down the trees and making more trees in order to fuel it. And once he says that he doesn't want to do it anymore, the Beast makes the same offer to Wart. If he wants to, because Greg is already gone. However, his soul can be saved within the lantern. And Wart immediately replies, just, no, that sounds dumb.
Yeah. Like they
you want me to just wander the woods forever? No.
Yeah. Like they build it up a little bit, like they pause for a bit, but then he just goes, no, that's stupid.
That sounds awful. And during this, there's a revelation very quickly that it isn't even the soul of the Woodsman's star in there. The Beast is the lantern. That is the only reason he wants to keep it alive.
Mm-hmm. Turns out the daughter soul was never in there.
And with that, the Woodsman and the Beast are kind of start to argue as Wart chops Greg out of the tree that is starting to form around him and carries him away. And the Woodsman decides to, even if it is possible that his daughter is in there, he no longer cares and blows out the lantern, killing the Beast. We wake up back in the real world where both Wart and Greg are in the hospital. All turned out okay. Sarah even found the tape and wants to listen to it with Wart. We see back in the unknown that Beatrice's family got turned back into people because Wart stole the scissors from Adelaide. Another character that I didn't really mention with Auntie Whispers and her daughter, or niece, everyone basically gets a happy ending. Even the woodsman gets his daughter back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how. It's magic. Fuck you. And then even the show just kind of goes, and everyone was happy. The end.
It's weirdly rushed at that point.
It's a weirdly comedic rushed ending.
Yeah.
And then that was over the garden wall, if I could words.
Yeah, so the first thing that I want to talk about, because it's the thing that absolutely threw me off guard about the show, was the horror elements of it. This show is fucking scary at times.
Like,
especially
Adventures of Flapjack could have a few kind of freaky moments. This is just a straight up Halloween show.
Yeah, it's like, this is what you get when you let Patrick McHale just go nuts.
Just go ham.
And the thing about it is, like, you know, it's not just like subtle or implied. No, there are overt horror elements to the show, and it has some legitimately terrifying imagery.
The Beast, especially, all we see of him is his silhouette, his horns, and his bright eyes.
Are we going to go into the Beast?
Darkness.
Because he's going to take up a whole section.
I mean, we could.
Let's just go into it. The Beast is fucking scary.
I forgot how fucking chilling his imagery was. Anytime he just appears and you see those piercing eyes from the depths of the forest, it makes your blood run cold.
Oh, it's so terrifying. Like, and they're really clever with how they use the silhouette too, because you see the eyes. The eyes are the first thing you notice, but then, like, they never show like his full head or his full silhouette. It's always just like you can partially just see the horns sticking out and then just blackness behind it. The way the silhouette for the Beast is animated is just so creepy and so well done.
It honestly is. And they only show him at the end for a second.
Oh, and it is the scariest image in the entire show.
Because, like, the Beast summons darkness around the woodsman, and then when he throws the lantern down, and you see the Beast for a second. You can look up the image of it if you don't want to try stopping on the exact frame, but it is a fucked up design.
Yeah. You can, like, see his whole body is made of, like, faces that are just, like, embedded in his flesh.
Yeah, he basically has like Freddy Krueger's chest, except it's his whole body, and you see like some of the faces are crying, and his face is like this horrific big with a big jaw just going oh type. Well, because he's freaking out at that point, but
it's fucked. And, like, you know, they don't beat around the bush. This is a horrifying fucking demon. And anytime you look up, like, you know, Cartoon Network shows, you know, like Biggest Baddies, like, people have said, I actually looked up a review of it. It's like, you know, they said, like, the Beast is by far the scariest and the most serious in tone villain that Cartoon Network has ever had.
I mean, he's asking for you to trick people into dying and then chopping them up to keep him alive.
That was one of the most fucked up twists I've ever seen in a quote unquote, you know, kids show, is that all of the trees are people who've gotten lost in the woods. And they're not only, you know, just dead at that point, you know, they're like kind of, he says that like Greg has no energy to live or something. So they're still alive, but slowly turning into fucking trees. And you're chopping them down and killing them and trapping their souls in this lantern for eternity.
You know what's bad?
What?
All my brain can think of is, you are not alone if there are trees. Is that supposed to be comforting or a threat? That's entirely up to the trees.
Yeah. Nice. I do like, too, how they kind of, you know, make fun of the process just to kind of lighten up the mood just a little bit. It doesn't hurt it, but, like, Greg starts coughing up leaves, and she's like, oh, no, he's growing from the inside, too. He's like, no, I just ate some leaves earlier.
I was just eating leaves.
But the whole implications of that twist and everything is just fucked. And dear Lord, the Beast is horrifying. Not to mention just all the other, horror themed things of this. And a really scary thing about it too, is that I'm going to read some behind the scenes later, or just as they pertain to it. But it says Over the Garden Wall was first envisioned in 2004 with a scarier and more adventure-based storyline. This was supposed to be scarier.
This is the watered-down version?
Apparently!
What the fuck was the original?
Oh, Lord, yeah. And I'll just go into that. Fuck it, we'll get that out of the way. Because it says, before working on as a storyboard artist on The Misadventures of Flapjack, Patrick McHale pitched the show in '06, then under the title of Tome of the Unknown. The series, it was still Walt and, it was originally Walter and Gregory, but they changed it to Wart and Greg. It was originally supposed to follow them after signing themselves into a Faustian deal with the devil named Old Scratch, journey across the land of In-Between to track down pages of a book of forgotten stories. There was originally supposed to be like a tome aspect of it and have a more adventure-based thing. McHale saw it as a possible Halloween special, but had trouble adopting the premise with a larger story arc. After the work for Flapjack, McHale moved on to co-develop Adventure Time, where he served as a creative director and subsequently as a writer. The network later asked him if he had an interest in developing a pilot, which led him to returning to Tome of the Unknown, polishing it, and pitching it again to the network. After creating a pilot episode, which was called Tome of the Unknown Harvest Melody, which did air, McHale and the network settled upon the miniseries format for the ensuing series, as McHale felt it would be something he felt that was higher quality than what he could do with the regular series. And it says production for it commenced in 2013. He originally had 18 chapters, but it was cut down. Here's some cut material too, just for fun. And early drafts of episodes from the show's pitch Bible included a skinless witch character and a villain who carves dice from the bones of kidnapped children.
What? I'm sorry. What?
Yep. That was cut from the show, which you'll probably see why.
For kids.
As well as a running pilot throughout 4 episodes in which Wart and Gregory are transformed into animals, kids show thing. Gregory being a duck and Wart being either a bear or a dog. No one can tell which is the running joke. He's a bear or a dog. No one can tell.
Huh.
So that was just some fun. That's what reminded me of it earlier. That's some good cut material. Just ruminate on that for a bit. God damn.
I also would like to bring something up because I realized it while we were editing, while I was editing Star.
Mm-hmm.
We say a lot, especially because we cover interesting kid shows.
Yeah.
We say a lot that we're surprised that or that something was able to get on a kid show, or for kids. That isn't us saying shouldn't have been done. I feel I should clarify.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 100% happy we're able to show kids some rather heavy shit, and because they can deal with a lot more than you'd expect.
Yeah.
It's just that we know how tight censorship is when it comes to kid shows or TV in general.
Yeah.
So when something like this is gone away with, it's just a surprise, and it's an awesome surprise.
Exactly, and he's right. This isn't, pertaining to, wow, we don't think kids can handle this. Wait, we want to do that. Like, go back to the 80s. Scare the fuck out of kids. Do the blonde doof. Thanks, brain. Do the Don Bluth thing where he's like, you can show kids anything, as long as it has a happy ending.
As long as it has a happy ending, they do not care.
Yeah, that's more us, knowing how networks work and knowing the corporate bullshittery that goes on. Like, the fact that Gravity Falls and this show was able to get away with some pretty creepy... Same with Star, just some pretty heavy and creepy shit. We're just more surprised at that aspect of it.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that we are not saying that, they shouldn't do this, it's for kids. It's more of, wow, I'm surprised you can do this for kids without someone getting pissy.
Because when me and Justin were kids, we both watched fucked up shit.
My parents wouldn't let me play GTA, but I was allowed to start watching slasher movies when I was 8. Because fuck it.
It's great. So yeah, that was just creepy. And another really creepy thing that I loved was the possessed daughter. That was so fucking creepy.
Yeah, that was episode 7, the one that I said we'd go back to.
Oh, okay, let's go back to it then. Yay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, flowing. Auntie Whispers.
Yes.
That's the episode.
Who Auntie Whispers was voiced by Tim Curry, and it's great.
Because who doesn't love a good old-fashioned Tim Curry?
Yeah. The thing that I actually kind of find hilarious about Auntie Whispers is she, like, underreacts to pretty much everything. She talks in the exact same fucking voice. Even when she's, like, yelling at them, she's like, no, don't do that. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Auntie, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, okay.
But yeah, in this episode, this is after Beatrice, they split from Beatrice. Warren and Gregor go into a creepy shack. There is a girl about Wart's age who's cleaning up the place and tells them to hide when Auntie Whispers shows up. Auntie Whispers is a freaky old lady.
Yeah, really freaky. Has this, like, you know, cartoonishly exaggerated giant head and this, like, really big body. It's creepy.
Which, since it's changing the art style up, it's just instantly fucking creepy.
What it kind of reminded me of were some of the monsters from Little Monsters. Or the little... Or not Little Monster. What the fuck was the name of that?
Real Monsters?
No. The video game. With the, like, little rainbow kid and the giant, weird, creepy monsters.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Little Nightmares.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the name of it. I was trying to remember the proper name. Yeah, it reminds me of the creatures from Little Nightmares, just the face. I had a very visceral reaction to Auntie Whispers. I was like, no.
You did not like her.
I hated it.
But Greg and Wart hide as Auntie Whispers comes in and thinks that Auntie Whispers will eat them. Also, I think the girl's name was Lauren or Laura. I didn't catch it.
Lorna.
Correctly.
It was Lorna.
Lorna?
Yep, Lorna. I just looked it up.
Okay, Lorna. I was close.
Yep.
Lorna hides them, and once Auntie Whispers goes to bed after failing to find the two, there. We also see Auntie Whispers has like this bell that controls Lorna.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, clean for the rest of the night. Wart comes out and is like, okay, you know what? Here, I'm going to help you clean, and then we're going to escape. Because, you know, you can't break the mind control easily.
Because every time she rings the bell, she's like, the bell commands you, or something.
Do as the bell commands.
Yeah.
And then... But, of course, Greg, being a dumb piece of shit, lets his frog go upstairs and accidentally wakes Auntie Whisper. So... the two run with Lorna into the closet as Auntie Whisper tells them, no, she's going to eat you. And then the episode makes your blood run cold as Lorna turns into a freaky fucking Evil Dead cartoon monster.
Oh, it's so creepy. Like the way the face is like smiling and has this like maniacal grin, like hee. And the way like they warbled the effect on her voice, like the just reminded me a lot of the that weird fucking creepy monster chick from The Evil Within 2.
Oh, yeah.
It just reminded me of that, the way it was like, or something. It was just,
yeah, the side mission one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is such a cool fucking monster fight.
Fuck yeah.
It's not even a fight, it's more of a stealth. Anyway, off topic. Then luckily, Greg's frog ate the bell. They shake the frog and basically tell the spirit possessing her to fuck off.
Yep.
Which also, if it was that easy, Auntie Whispers is kind of a bitch.
Yeah, well, she's either a bitch or just not the smartest auntie, or she's just, you know, old and maybe senile. I don't know.
All of these are possibilities. But yeah, that's how that episode kind of wraps, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the design, the way they shoot and animate Lorna when she is possessed is so fucked.
Oh, yeah. It's really creepy. And yeah, I love that monster design. That terrified me. I was like, I thought Auntie Whispers was scary. Look at this motherfucker right here. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's just so creepy. And this probably scared the shit out of some kids.
Yeah.
Like, this episode honestly might have been a bit too intense.
Yes, I agree. There are a couple things in this show which I think may have been too intense, but they did it and it got on the air and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Another one-off was the earliest one, the creepy cult one.
Oh yeah, the creepy cult that turns out to all just. Since we're going on a bit long, I think we're at an hour at the. Aren't we?
It's fine.
Yeah, I won't go through a full synopsis of the episode, but they come across a town where there's basically a pumpkin cult, and we do find out that they are all skeletons underneath.
Yeah, they're just skeletons wearing pumpkins. So
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Not scary at all. It's fine.
And then the other one, another really fun one-off was the school episode.
Oh yeah, the one right after with the school of animals.
Yeah. There's a woman whose husband left her, and she constantly like sings songs and talks about like how he left. Oh no, in the ABCs she works in like it's for the husband that left me.
Yeah.
I just love how dark that is. But she's teaching animals, and then they're really low on money, and turns out no one's having fun. But then they do a fundraiser, and it turns out this evil gorilla that's been chasing everyone, it's the husband. So yeah.
Who was trapped in a gorilla costume from the circus.
Yep. So.
Oh yeah, we also in the happy ending we see them all her husband at a circus all happy.
Yeah. So that was cool.
That's cute. Yeah, the one-offs are fun. This is just a very solid miniseries.
It is. It balances really well the tone and it not only balances tone, it balances pacing as well. Because the one-offs, it's not like some animes where it's like, oh yeah, this is a completely side thing which has nothing to do. No, they feel part of the world, and that. Well, I guess anime does that too really well. I shouldn't knock that, but it's called world building. It's just good world building. We have the main plot and everything, but then we have side episodes that kind of just explore this weird world and just give us a bigger better understanding of just what's going on and what the fuck we can expect to see in this series.
Yeah.
And just to recap just the one-offs here, there's the one with the mansion where we meet Fred, and the guy is voiced by John Cleese.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that's it. Actually, I can't think of any other one-offs.
Yeah, that's about it. The rest are pretty story-based.
Mm-hmm. And the frog ship one starts out as a one-off, but then ties into a really good gut punch moment.
Yeah. Oh, right. Still going on about the horror. Fucking Adelaide's death.
Oh God, that was fucked.
Like, the only reason that got to air is because her insides were gray instead of red.
Yeah, you see like her skin melt and just completely, and just her insides come out. But yeah, like you said, it's black instead of red, so it's fine.
It's fine.
Which knowing that and knowing like the whole blood thing, it still shocks me how Gravity Falls got away with so much blood.
Yeah,
that still surprises me.
So much blood. So much blood in spoilers that I can't mention because you should watch Gravity Falls. The Blu-ray is still available.
Go grab it. Support them. Support Alex Hirsch and support Shout Factory.
Yeah, don't support Disney Plus. They actually censored stupid parts of the show. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about what was the person's name again? The witch.
Adelaide.
Adelaide. The funny thing about Adelaide is it's voiced also by John Cleese, who voiced the rich guy from earlier. And I was hearing the voice, and I was going to jokingly say, "Oh, that sounds like one of the Monty Python members imitating a woman." And it turns out it was one of the Monty Python members imitating a woman. So there you go. I was like, wait a minute. John Cleese was in an episode. Wait a sec. Ah, so fucked. And just again, just that just that both like caught me off guard and impressed me because it is really solid horror.
Yeah, it's solid body horror there.
No, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
Also, I'd like to say Adelaide's plan was basically to mentally destroy Wart and Gregor to become slaves.
Oh yeah, you know.
They just say this. We don't look deeper into it or anything. She just says this.
Yeah. Some of the stuff they just say is kind of surprising. Like for the cult episode one, I was like, oh, it's a cult. But I in my head, I was like, oh, they're not actually going to say it. And then Wart's just like, oh, wow. Or no, I think it's the Beatrice says like, oh, wow, this creepy cult. I'm like, oh, they're just going to say it. All right.
This is a cult. This is creepy.
Yeah. Fucking Beatrice telling it how it is.
It is what it is.
Oh, God. Anything else about the horror aspects that you can think of?
Not that I can think of, but my nightmares will remind me at some point.
Oh, yeah. And I just realized it's a long episode because there's 2 more sections I want to get through.
Ah, shit.
So, let's talk about the animation because it's so well done.
So pretty.
Oh my God. The backgrounds in particular are just so fucking pretty.
Yeah, just wonderfully painted or hand drawn. I think it's clear that at least the backgrounds were hand drawn, and they look so fucking.
Yeah. Fun fact about this. It says Nick Cross served as the art director and Nate Cash as a supervising director. Both worked with McHale alongside storyboard artists located in New York and Chicago. The distance proved difficult for McHale, who found it particularly daunting considering the idiosyncratic nature of the production. So one was in New York, one was in Chicago, and they kind of had to send stuff back and forth to each other during production.
Huh.
So...
Well, that's insane on how well it all flows together then.
Oh, yeah. So they just did a solid job. It's so pretty, and it's just smooth and flows well. And I love the references to older animation as well, just thrown in there randomly.
Yeah, that's what it tries to capture. It captures the mood of those older animations, but all the moments that people say scared them as kids.
Mm-hmm. And the series... What?
I was going to say that's basically this show in a nutshell is just trying to be that one scary moment from a kid's movie, but an entire series.
It just make an entire series around it, and it turned out fantastic. The art was inspired by a variety of sources. One of them was a board game by the McLaughlin brothers, I guess. I've never heard of them, but that's what they are. And it was a board game called Game of Frog Pond. So that was one of the main inspirations, I guess.
Huh.
And then illustrations were inspired by like some illustrations for old, like, you know, fairy tale books like Don Quixote and Hans Christian Andersen, stuff like that. Like
well, that makes sense. A lot of the aspects sound very fairy tale, like Grimm's fairy tale, where Beatrice has to use the scissors to chop off the wings in order to turn back to human.
Yep, there's heavy fantasy elements alongside the very much horror focused shit. You know, this is pretty accurate to fairy tales, I must say, in that it got really dark.
It gets like, oh yeah, if you kind of say it out loud, it's a bit fantastical, a bit silly, but in reality, it's really fucked up.
Oh yeah. But I just love how, like, the animation style and just how smooth and just it adds to the atmosphere. That's another thing I want to say. Just when I think of this series, I just think atmosphere. That is so well done and so consistently well done.
Oh yeah, it's a very autumn atmosphere. It's this show should honestly play every October. It's such a Halloween feel to it. It's great.
I agree. It's like you see like movies like, for example, you know, Halloween or Trick or Treat or something where you look at the cinematography and it just oozes fall and Halloween. That's very much this show.
Yeah, even though when we find out it did take place on Halloween, even without that, it just feels like Halloween.
Yes. And they did do a really good job, just like I said earlier, kind of, but just balancing, like, you know, the really scary, fucked up shit and the lighter stuff to kind of, you know, ease that for a little bit. It was never like, you know, horror, just like, it never felt out of place, I should say.
Yeah, it had very well done pacing.
Mm-hmm. Anything else about the animation?
The last episode, I forgot to mention it was snowing. It looked so fucking
so good.
Just pretty.
And we find out that the whole world that they're dreaming up in their heads or whatever is called the unknown, because shortly before he went out to do all his Halloween stuff in town, he says, "Okay, into the unknown."
Or that was just the title drop of the episode. Who knows?
Either way, clever.
What's the third part you want to get to?
The music.
It's so nice.
The music is really nice. Like the main opening theme, I should say, is this really pretty classical piece with a lot of string instruments. But it also kind of has this weird, like, creepy tone to it. Like, something's off.
Yeah, like if you were sitting in a cabin, you just heard this play, you would assume something's outside.
Yeah.
Or is already inside.
Mm-hmm. The music is fantastic, and just the little musical ditties they do, I just kind of love. All of them were really solid. There were no songs I was like, oh god, here we go again, or I was rolling my eyes at. They're just fun.
I do think the one where they're inside the tavern goes on a bit too long, where they keep singing about Wart.
Yeah, that goes on a bit. But I give that a pass because you're supposed to be annoyed by their music.
Yeah, you're supposed to be like, okay, can you please just tell us how to get the fucking Adelaide's house?
And I want to say, too, the guy who played the highwayman, who had, like, the really bluesy song.
Uh-huh.
He has one of the most blues-ass names I've ever heard.
Okay, what is it?
Blind Boy Paxton.
That's a fantastic name.
Right. Yeah, I guess his real name is Drone Paxton, but he goes by Blind Boy Paxton. Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
Also, the person who voiced the Beast is an opera singer, and they use that to his full advantage.
Yes, and I was just about to say that because in more of the behind-the-scenes stuff, it says for the music, McHale drew inspiration from classic American opera singing. And I looked up the guy who played the Beast just because he had a cool-ass voice, and I'm like, has he done anything else? And it turns out he's an opera singer. And since he was also inspired by opera as well, the woman who played the Queen of the Clouds, like, the cloud god in Greg's Dream, was also a opera singer.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. So it was just really cool because he actually, like, was inspired by opera and got an actual operatic singers who were, like, classically trained. And Samuel Ramey is the guy who played the Beast, and he has this, like, very deep bassy voice. So,
which just makes it all the more creepy.
It's all the more creepy and all the more cool because opera is interesting. That can kind of be used to, like, be dramatic, like, ha, or, like, opera can be used in creepy ways too. And it's really cool because whenever the Beast appears, you hear him singing opera. It's just so solid. So just in all aspects. That's why I kind of like, the more I'm just thinking about and reading about, the more I just really appreciate it because it's really good, not only from a story standpoint, but an animation standpoint, and the music and just how everything came together was just really well done and frankly just really unique. This is not like a series that I feel would be like, his series is like this series. It very much stands on its own as something.
Yeah, it feels like its own beast.
So to say.
But yeah, it feels like its own thing, and I also don't think it would do well if it got like a season 2 or something. It works as just this miniseries.
I agree. And I heard one of the reviewers say, like, it would comment on how short it was. They're like, I really, really wanted more or something. But they were like, yeah, like any good fairy tale book, it has an ending. It kind of ends and that's it. Like, and I'm all for, getting less, but it being all super high quality. So.
Yeah, it just comes together to be this super solid creation.
And it's perfect, basically just as is. It's absolutely one of, what I say his name was, McHale. It's one of his the best things he's made thus far, at least from all I've seen, because I've watched Flapjack and Adventure Time and all that, and this was just really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else you have to say, or I think that's it, huh?
There is a bit more, because we didn't even talk about the main characters.
Yeah, let's talk about Greg and Wirt.
Well, also, I was mainly going to talk about a bit of theme here, because Damn it.
Nice.
Gregor's just a fun name to say, okay?
It is. I agree. I'm not.
Plus, he fought a tornado once.
Damn it! I did again. I'm sorry. I bumped my mic.
Yeah, Cameron's just been headbutting everything tonight.
I don't know why. It's just a thing that I've been accidentally doing.
Yeah, sure, accident.
Why would I do it on purpose?
I don't know, fucking idiot.
Why would I be just going around banging my head and be thinking, oh yeah, that wall looks really good?
Oh, you're one of those stupid Ohio people. I don't know what you people do for...
I'm not stupid, but I am from Ohio, and I guess that comes with its own little quirks, like our corn and saying ope all the time.
No, that's just a Midwest thing, the ope part.
You're right, that is a Midwest thing in general.
Here in Chicago, we just shoot each other and then tax ourselves for it.
You're not wrong! That is one of the best descriptions of Chicago I've ever heard in my life.
We go get pizza.
We just shoot each other, then tax everyone for it, and then eat pizza. That's Chicago.
Yep. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I was really tickled by that. Oh, let's proceed.
But with Ward, because Ward is the main character and Greg is just comic relief because he doesn't really have an arc to him.
He has a little bit, just a little bit when he actually, like, you know, Wirt tells him off and then he essentially sacrifices himself for Wirt.
Yeah, he grows a bit more self-aware of, like, his actions having consequence.
Mm-hmm.
But with Wart, it's an odd lesson about kind of of one, taking responsibility, and two, when to listen and when to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Because they even point this out in the third episode that Wart is... he's a yes man. If you tell him to do something, he'll do it.
And they make fun of this in one episode.
Yeah, they make fun of it in the school episode. That the whole reason they go to the school is because he was told to sit down by a teacher and Beatrice was teasing him for always listening. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just an idiot, and I have to listen to everything they say.
He was basically just doing it out of spite.
Spite. My favorite reason.
Spite is fun.
But as he goes on, he learns when to listen, because there's a reason for someone to tell you to do something. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to words properly here. But he quickly learns on when it is time to listen and when it is time to go, no, let's not do that. Plus his whole growth of when to take responsibility, because he blames Greg the entire time, but the whole reason they got in this situation is because of his own anger towards Greg and not thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Greg was only trying to help the entire time. He's the one who kept telling him no and being kind of a stick in the mud that led to them almost drowning to death.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such an odd thing for a kid's show to say. I don't know why.
It really is. It's an interesting lesson, isn't it? Yeah, there's not much I have to say on that. You're right. That is just an odd thing for it to tackle.
I also like the idea that this is like with what you said the original pilot was of them making a deal with the devil. That kind of makes the thing I said at the end, when we finished watching it, probably more true that this is the afterlife in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a way to, if Wart did say yes to the beast, both will have probably drowned.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking, like, I'm wondering if this whole... Now I'm just theorizing at this point, but what if it wasn't so much a dream as it was a near-death experience?
That does make more sense because, actually, Greg does have the frog at the end in the hospital, and he shakes it and the bell still glows inside it, so technically it's real.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense as a near-death experience of that. Wait, does that just mean technically the positive afterlife in this world is just wandering.
I guess. But
Like
I think it's more implied that they're in limbo or something, or maybe they're just in limbo until they actually, fully die or something like that. Man, we could go on about that, couldn't we? Jeez.
Well, no, they were basically dead. It's just they were able to escape it.
And another thought crossed my mind too. It's like, what if the deal with the beast was kind of metaphorical too? Like, oh, his soul would be there, and you'd just have to wander the woods or something for all of eternity. What if that's him saying, oh yeah, that's you dying?
Yeah, that would have been them dead. But that also makes me wonder what Greg's deal was with the goddess. Would that have meant he woke up and was saved, but Wart would have died?
Ah, there you go.
And then also you have to wonder what happens when you become one of the or Edelwood trees.
Yeah.
Is that a version of hell? Is that purgatory? Whatever.
Yeah.
There is a lot to look into this show.
There is. There's. I guess it does run deeper than we initially thought, huh?
I was trying to think of a joke about drowning or tree roots, but I got nothing.
Goes deeper than we thought. Okay.
But besides that, all the voice actors do an absolutely fantastic job with what they are given.
Yeah, everyone gives it their all. There was no voices where I was like, "Oh, that sticks out," or a bad read. Everyone gives it their all. So, and like, even the veteran actors too do a really good job, because sometimes you can tell celebrity actors in shows, like they deliberately try to make them either look like the celebrity or the celebrity doesn't change their voice and it's really obvious who it is. But no, they all get into their characters, so to speak, and they do a really good fucking job. Like Elijah Wood as the main character is fantastic. Same with Christopher Lloyd as the woodsman.
I also just like hearing Christopher Lloyd and things.
Right? Turns out they just went to his house one day and he was just ranting and raving about the beast. It was just him recorded, just walking around the house.
He was playing hide and seek with his niece, and the beast took.
Dude, Christopher Lloyd would be an amazing uncle.
I don't know. Maybe he's a dick. We don't know.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, just imagine him playing with like his niece or something, just like, oh, look at me. Oh man.
Yeah, this is just an awesome miniseries.
Yeah, really loved it. Really dug it. So it was a very pleasant surprise. So, because again, just judging from the cover art, I would have never guessed horror. I got fantasy, and I was like, oh yeah, because there's like gnomes and stuff, because he's dressed up like a gnome or whatever. But yeah, going in as blind as possible really helped my viewing experience.
Which is why we told you to do it. But if you listened all the way to the end and didn't do that, it's your own fucking fault.
It's your own fucking fault. Also, by the way, thank you for your patronage.
Thanks for listening.
But thanks for listening to us talk about a series for an hour and 18 minutes. Well, probably less with cutout, but
probably less. Well, next week is shit. I forget which movie is next.
Did you know that if you soak a raisin in grape juice, it turns into a grape? It's a rock fact!
Okay. So next we have actually more horror with Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And then after that, we are not getting back to Star. We do not want to watch more Star at the moment, so we're probably going to do either a dealer's bet or a topic wheel. We will see.
Or both?
No, just one.
I know.
We have shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then after that topic wheel will be another movie, and then will be Star Season Part 1.
So yeah. Thanks guys for listening.